Your team has decided that whatever you've implemented is not useful to them and they're not going to adopt it. They've found workarounds to the new process. They're still using old systems. They've got their spreadsheets or their manual processes. This resistance to change is one of the biggest risks of any sort of project. So now what? Ideally, you would move through this process before you implement the change, but you can go through this if you're seeing resistance as a way to kind of help your team get used to the change. And that's a good old-fashioned feedback session and some real training. Most of the time, people resist change because they feel like it's just been thrust upon them and they've had no say in the matter. Or it's a symptom of not feeling like they have the skill set to do it appropriately, so just avoiding it. So you need to give people the time to truly kick the tires of whatever new process or solution you're putting in place so that they have the opportunity to get comfortable with it. Giving them a quick starter guide and pushing them into the new solution the day of go live is not an effective strategy. If you're still in the implementation and looking to avoid this in the first place, the first thing you should be doing is doing demo feedback sessions with the people that are actually going to use the software, or talking through the proposed change so that people can get their arms wrapped around what it looks like. You'll probably get some initial feedback that might help you shape what the solution looks like or how you're going to adjust the process that helps them feel like they were included in the process. You don't have to take every suggestion that's given to you in these feedback sessions. It's an opportunity for people to feel like their voices are being heard. And if you choose not to take feedback, make sure you're sharing the why and the thought process behind it so that they can start to come around to the idea of why their thought process wasn't followed. Then when it's time for actual go live, make sure you do not cut out the user acceptance testing. And before you start that user acceptance testing, do some training with your team so that they actually know how to use the solution and what they're looking for when they're testing. It can be really hard if someone hasn't been trained to know if something is a bug or new functionality or something that they should tell you about. So give them the training and then give them a real amount of time for them to test out the platform, give you feedback on what's working and what's not. Then by the time that the actual implementation comes around, they're comfortable with the solution and they don't feel like they need to resist it. They've been a part of it. Their thoughts have been heard. They've maybe seen some changes to the process or the way that the software is functioning based off of their feedback, and they recognize that maybe they didn't get everything, but they were at least a part of the process. Of course, this might not solve every single bout of resistance that you're going to have in your organization. There's still the sticky nature that is working with people, but this will help you get a lot further into that implementation with a lot less resistance.